It's anime. It's weekend. It's Atlanta. It's a podcast all about Anime Week in Atlanta 2013, and this is the OSMcast. Hey folks, and welcome back to the OSMcast, your podcast for everything awesome, also now featuring a little bit, or a lot of bit, of moments of chainsawing. As I'm Basil.
I'm Kevin.
And over the magic of the internet, all the way into Tennessee, we have Charlie.
We do?
And Babushka. That'd be you, Dylan.
Hi.
That's Russian for the habe of his heart.
Yes, that's very true. That is Russian for the habe of my heart. I'm glad that you are fluent in Basil-ishin.
I try. I have a rough. You can really hear my accent.
That's all right. I'm okay with that. So, yes, we are the OSMcast and the Chainsaw Buffet, recording about an anime con as we are wont to do. Although this time we actually did wait till after the con's over, so you will in fact get Sunday.
Maybe.
Ooh.
I think I stopped taking notes.
Listener who complained about it on their podcast website and not my podcast website. Thank you very much. But whatever.
We were totally there on Sunday and sort of remember it.
I think we went to one panel.
Vague
recollections. Charlie and I.
But before we get into that, we have a couple of websites. We have, of course, the OSMcast, OSMcast, and the Chainsaw Buffet, chainsawbuffet.com. You can find on both our websites all our previous episodes. You can subscribe to us via RSS or iTunes. If you're listening to either podcast, please rate both our podcasts on iTunes, all the stars you may wish. Hopefully that's 5. Or, frankly, I know all podcasts are like, yes, give us 5. But I'll take 4.
Does it not go higher? Because I think we've earned 7.
I'm going to counter that because I think we should preserve the sanctity of iTunes ratings by not encouraging people to inflate them. How do you expect a system like that to be authoritative if everyone's just going in giving 5 stars?
Right, but true. I think Charlie's got a point though, because since they haven't rated us for so long, and we've both been around so long with compound interest, we're at least like 4.5.
I don't know. I think we're a strong 6.
I could see that. I could see that over time. Once you add, once you add in the variables with
exactly
in the equation with the maths.
I mean, Dylan does make a good point. If everybody gets rated 5, then when iTunes ratings become the currency of the future, that devalues the currency, and suddenly it takes like 6 podcasts to buy a loaf of bread, and then where are we?
Well, then we're doing a whole lot of recording.
A whole lot of podcasts.
I wish I could buy a loaf of bread with 6 podcasts. Usually it pays nothing.
Usually we spend money.
Welcome to the money hole that is podcasting. Throw your money in. It's never coming back.
So, there's that. You can also send us emails at awesomecast@gmail.com. Or if you have any complaints, send it to podcast@chainsawbuffet.com.
Hey, we're just happy to get an email.
That is true.
Which, just so in case y'all didn't realize, that's why Nico sent one saying, stuff sucks.
Because he's jealous?
Well, no, because he was sending his complaints about the OSMcast to you guys.
Oh. Well,
but they are right about One Piece.
Well, I am right about One Piece, and I have, in fact, given John a story arc to watch to.
Oh, really?
So, yes.
So the great experiment begins.
Yes. It apparently was the same arc that somebody else we know recommended to him. So
that must mean it's a good arc.
Well, it is the Arlong Park arc, which is the first arc that the One Piece crew actually sort of becomes a cohesive unit.
Mm.
it's the first time that, the four, dude heroes finally form an actual. It feels like if they finally do something where they finally become a crew instead of four individual people like that are hanging out with each other and doing things. It's really the moment where they really come together. And so I feel that if no other arc can snag you, then you're stupid. Or John.
This is an early arc?
It is an early arc.
So is it acceptable that I just am kind of ambivalent either way? Like, is that more acceptable than hating One Piece?
Possibly. I mean, the thing is that I really can't hate on anyone who doesn't really watch One Piece because it's so long. It's been going on for so often. This thing has been over like a decade's worth of, time.
Really?
Yeah, it's been going on since like 98.
Yeah, One Piece is old.
I don't think I realized it'd been on that long.
Like it is a long running, it's an old show.
Wait, the TV show has been going since 98?
Yes.
Or the manga? Okay.
The TV show.
I graduated high school in 99. How is that possible?
So
wow.
I think you have to watch for almost a month continuously to watch the whole show at this point. No sleep, no breaks, just watch. Takes something like a month to watch the episodes there are.
I don't know, if you had it on the laptop, you could still poop and eat.
It's true. Or the tablet if you have the right apps. Anyways.
True.
So that's where you can find us. That's where you can, chat with us. Leave us, of course, you can leave comments on toilet or not, in a blender or in a cat. I don't know where I was going with that. It was.
You made it rhyme though. Good for you. I'm proud of you.
Let's move on. Head forward so we can knock this shit out.
Yeah.
Straight into moments of recommendation. I mean, awesome.
It's a moment of awesome.
So I think Kevin and I have the same moment.
Yeah.
Oh, you shared a moment.
As we have both caught in the Pokebug.
Yeah, I could possibly dig in my brain and think of
virus, I believe, if we go previous installments where that was an actual thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I could possibly dig in my brain and think of something else that's awesome, but I just really want to say Pokemon, pretty awesome.
Yeah, the new Pokemon X and Y have just come out. It came out on Saturday. So it's only been out for a couple of days. We've both, Kevin and I, have only cleared a gym each.
Yeah.
The first gym, and he's a little farther than I am, but it's, man.
A couple of steps, really.
This Pokemon is awesome. Nintendo's been on a real roll, honestly, this year with their games. This has been the year of 3DS. If you were ever into 3DS, man, this was the year to get into it. Fire Emblem was awesome and amazing. Animal Crossing was awesome and amazing. Luigi's Mansion 2 was awesome and amazing. And this one, again, they really hone in on what's good, blow it up to being almost, I want to say, at least for Nintendo, I don't have the Wii, they had the Wii U, it's like a next-gen Pokemon experience.
It's definitely a lot more detailed graphics, and even with the Pokemon battles, definitely way more detailed graphics than they've done before.
And they do a lot of things, all the menus are nice, and they finally have ramped up some of the conventions, the things that were kind of dumb to do, and they fixed it. For example, experience getting. Now, Pokemon, if somehow you don't know what it is a role-playing game. It's a JRPG.
For little Japanese schoolgirls.
Or boys. Or kids in college.
I actually find that Pokemon is the RPG that transcends normal boundaries of gender, age, and race, and just lots of people play.
And it makes everyone a small Japanese schoolgirl.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
Made me a small Japanese schoolgirl.
It's true. I saw it was creepy.
Yeah.
But
still an improvement.
You level up your Pokemon like you would level up any characters in a role-playing game. And in previous installments, only the Pokemon that led the battle would get experience. And if you wanted to level up other Pokemon, you would have to swap them in the battle, and they both get a portion of experience. And if you wanted to level up another Pokemon that wasn't actually fighting, you had to give them a special item called an experience share for them to get some experience. Well, they kept the experience share item, but now it's just an item that you toggle on and off in general. And as long as you leave it toggled on, the Pokemon who contribute in the fights get all the experience. Then all the Pokemon who don't contribute in the fight in your party gets 50% of the experience. So suddenly, actually leveling your Pokemon is no longer pissing annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Maybe 20 hours into the game, there's some horrible, crippling flaws, but right now it's shiny and wonderful.
Like I am really enjoying it. The music is awesome. The graphics are like, ooh, it's all in polygons, but they're really nice cel-shaded polygons.
Yeah,
and all the Pokemon look really nice, and they kind of they move around now, and it's man. This is the first Pokemon game, and I played Red and Blue, or Red, and I enjoyed it, but I couldn't really get into any of the Pokemons afterwards. I kept trying. I tried playing Gold and Silver. I tried playing Diamond and Pearl. I tried playing Black and White. I've tried playing several others, and they just didn't grab me. But this one is freaking got me. And man, it's going to be a good ride. And you can customize your character. Your character can now wear clothes that aren't just like the stupid, dumb clothes.
I heard your character can now wear clothes. Well, that's an improvement.
It's the best part of virtual cockfighting and a dress-up game.
It's awesome and great, and you can deliver your Pokemon sincere omotenashi.
Yeah, they added a little bit of Nintendogs there, where you can like play with your Pokemon and pet them
and rub their belly, and then they little music notes come out, and they're like, I'm happy, I'm gonna have a Pokemon.
Can you force feed them bananas?
If you don't know about Pokemon, do you have any right to speak of Japanese culture?
No.
Since we're just going straight down the
Oh, okay, Nintendo, free idea, Pokemon dating sim. It'll be horrible, but you will make so much money.
Just
EDP.
That'd be Poke-P. Oh wait, that sounds like incorrect. But not wrong.
Pokemon dating sim.
Nintendo, if you want to throw away all dignity, there's your
and
money
call
maker.
it Pokemon Snap 2 so people will buy it anyways. But yeah, I think that's our moment of awesome.
Yeah.
So, Dylan?
I'm going to recycle the recommendation I just gave on Chainsaw Buffet, which is itself a recycling of the segment I did. Penny Arcade did a comic, I think on Friday, where they kind of talked about how complicated that Battlestar Galactica, the board game, is. So I'm going to recommend Battlestar Galactica, the board game. Although, to counteract the comic, maybe don't use like 2 extra expansion options, because that gets super complicated. And I find it takes less than an hour to set up if you keep all your tokens in a nice plastic, divided plastic tackle box type of thing.
Now, I do have a question, and maybe this was also recycled on the Chainsaw Buffet podcast that you can find at chainsbuffet.com.
All right.
If I have never watched Battlestar Galactica, the old one or the new one, why do I care?
Because this is well, for one thing, I'll start off by saying, when I first played the board game, I had never seen Battlestar Galactica, and I watched the show because of the board game. Just to see, especially if you buy the base game, there's not a lot of spoilers. But what it is it's kind of like a very, very complicated game of Are You a Werewolf, or even The Resistance, where you're trying to root out the traitors, but what you're really trying to do is, get the Galactica to Earth. And every round something horrible happens, and all the players, and what I really like is all the players are involved in almost every decision. Because it usually involves a skill check or something like that, where everyone has to play cards.
I did see a video from a web blogger who was playing a game of this with some of his friends. It looked like, if you got the right group of people playing it, it looked like it was a lot of fun.
Yes. It's definitely one, like, I played it, Chad and I played it with a couple other people. I can't remember if you ever played that, Charlie, did you?
Which game?
Battlestar Galactica?
Oh, yeah, that's the one you've been talking about for the last whoever knows how long. I played it with you and Chad once.
Okay. The
it
times we
felt tedious.
Part of the reason was because Chad and I play it so infrequently that, for a while there we had to look almost everything up. I played it at MomoCon a couple of years ago with someone who actually knew, and like everything clicked because there was someone who actually knew what they were doing and didn't have to look everything up.
Now, if you were to recommend a similar space-themed game, but that's a bit simpler, so maybe and get someone into it before give them the mother lode that is Battlestar.
I wouldn't recommend a space-themed game because this doesn't have to be space-themed. It's really the trader mechanic that's awesome. If you go watch, Tabletop just did an episode on Shadows over Camelot, which I've never played, but I hear is like a lot like it, but slightly. I think Tycho in his blog post even called Battlestar Galactica like Shadows over Camelot Hyper X, tournament edition or something. I would recommend playing the Resistance because it's got a little more structure than Are You a Werewolf? Have you guys ever played Are You a Werewolf? Do you know what I'm...
No.
Are you?
A werewolf? I know I'm a werewolf, but...
What?
Everyone thinks I'm the werewolf.
It's basically a game where certain people are traders and certain people are villagers, and the villagers have to find out who...
Those traders happen to be werewolves.
Yes. Werewolves kill a villager, villagers decide who to lynch, and maybe it's another villager, maybe it's a werewolf. You kind of have to create your own context.
The answer is it's always me.
Lynch someone else.
But the Resistance is really good because, you have to assemble a team of operatives. Everyone has to vote on the team. You have to complete quests. There's a little more structure instead of people just like pointing fingers at the same people every time. But yeah, if you were going to ease into it, I would say the Resistance.
All right, Charlie.
What
do you got? What you got for us?
I don't know. I'll throw out three really quick ones. I'm a big fan of the game Betrayal at House on the Hill. We brought it up a couple times in the last episode, or the episode we just recorded, but...
You guys are getting the leftovers, by the way.
Yeah.
That's what we should call
We'll call this the doggy bag.
We just finished recording.
But here's the thing that we didn't really discuss Betrayal. And I should have recommended it.
It got brought up a couple of times in the dice file.
But that is a really, really great board game.
Wait. Let's stop right here. Let's stop right here, right now. How in the hell is Shadowrun never brought up in the dice pile?
Because Chad's the only one who's really played it, I think.
How the fucking hell is it that you go, what's the best system that marries its rules and its setting, and it's not fucking Shadowrun?
Shadowrun's a good game. I won't lie. But it has been a very long time since I played it.
Okay.
I have only rolled up characters. I don't think we ever got to play because this was back in the the early days of high school where getting together with people meant, like parents approving it and in some cases driving us around. So it's like for playing an RPG, in high school, it's really hard to get people together. In college, it's suddenly easier, and now everyone has lives, so it's harder again. But that has nothing to do with Charlie's recommendations.
But that's cool. It's on my mind, and sometimes I might be listening to y'all's podcast while driving down the road, and I'll be like, all right, now they're going to say Shadowrun. What the fuck? They didn't say Shadowrun! How did this work? Like, yes, I get it. Mage is good. I liked Mage 2 growing up. But what about Shatter? Okay.
Okay, that's what we need to do. Next episode, we're going to tell Chad that we're going to do a episode or a segment completely on Shadowrun and nothing else.
Shadowrun is pretty cool.
Okay,
like
but you were saying, Charlie.
Oh, Betrayal: House on the Hill is a really, really good board game. It's one of my all-time favorites for a number of reasons. That you get to build the board as you go every game. That one of the players, and you never know who's starting off, is eventually going to turn traitor on everybody else, which completely changes the game when that happens. Really creepy crap happens to you. I mean, it's so good. And then when somebody does turn traitor, you basically get a whole scenario to play out, and the rule book has like 40 or 50, I think, different scenarios that play like any number of sci-fi or horror movie, basically. And it's good. It's just good. So we'll leave it at that.
All right, so we're only getting one from Charlie.
Would you like more?
Okay, well, did you
You
mention...
said 3.
What I want to know is, did you mention the other 2 on the Chains Buffet?
Yes.
Then, if you would like to hear more, go listen to the Chains Buffet podcast at chainsbuffet.com.
There you
Find
go.
out if you are a werewolf.
Answer,
Chances are-
yes.
Yes,
You are.
Yep, prepare to be lynched.
So, with that, we're going to take an audio interlude, and then we will be talking about Anime Weekend Atlanta
Dun, dun, dun.
in the year 2013.
Dun, dun, dun.
Because that was the year that it happened in.
That's the year it is now.
Yes. And we'll release the year that it is now.
Yes.
It's 2013. Because we do that now at the OSMcast.
Releasing our podcast in the same year we record them.
I think every
Awesomecast now with improved release schedule.
every podcast has to go through those dark times where because we did it for a while where I was just like, man, editing stuff is so tedious.
Hey, we've now got a sign on our website saying how many podcasts we get done in a row. We have now
Yes.
we are now claiming that. We are now owning on it.
Eventually you come through the dark night of the podcast soul and you're better for it. You're a better, stronger podcast,
And
but
it's
you
gonna
still
be-
have to go through it.
So we're really interested considering that we're recording this now. That means Anna has to I have to upload to Anna and then watch her edit it and get to me in time tomorrow to upload it and post it. Anyways, you'll find out whether it's a number 3 on the sign or number 0 on the sign when this episode goes up. But now AWA music go. And we're back. So, basics out of the way first. And Week in Atlanta, September 27 through 29th, 2013, in the Renaissance Waverly Hotel and Cobb Galleria Center. And there's a couple of things, info bits I'd like to put out before we really get into it. And that is attendance numbers, because I do think that's kind of important, especially in this year. Last year, in 2012, they had 13,472 paid attendees. That is what they announced as their final number. In 2013, they announced 18,363 warm bodies.
They're not counting the zombies.
Now, What does that mean?
I want to point out one thing. That's like a third of the size of Dragon Con, apparently.
Like, well, what I want to point out, in case people don't understand why there's two quantifiers there. There are two. There is warm bodies and paid attendees. Paid attendees is exactly what it is. It's just paid attendees. Warm bodies includes everybody. That includes staff. That includes guests. That includes all comp badges, whether the panelist, industry, or whatever. That is everyone in the convention taking up space. And it is, I find it interesting that they went from one barometer of talking about their attendance to another one, which does make sense as AWA is now under slightly different ownership.
Interesting. I didn't realize they had changed that.
Yeah, as far as I understand, AWA, it's not entirely ownership.
I didn't realize they had changed the attendance figures. I also didn't realize they had changed ownership, really, but, you know.
Yes, well,
I thought it was one director sold his share.
Something like that. But I believe the director that sold his share was pretty important.
Oh, gotcha.
And so it is a little bit more of a. So I think this is sort of a year where AWA was sort of refinding itself. And you do see a couple of different changes that we'll probably talk about. And one of the things that I should also point out before I really get into this convention talking is a couple of disclaimers. First off, none of us went as media.
True.
None of us went as media, even though we're covering it as if we were media. Entirely because AWA's stance on media has changed. Where now you have to get it pretty much killed most nerd media that is around, especially like podcasts.
Yeah.
Just the amount of hits they're expecting, I don't think even works for podcasting.
No.
As I explained to you guys, we were actually at the convention. You know, a podcast doesn't work off hits. We work off downloads from an RSS feed. Like, so if people have plugged in their RSS feed from like iTunes or some other Android podcatcher, we're probably not getting those hits that they're expecting out of us.
True.
And so that just doesn't work. And even then, like, you know, for example, I believe AWO, which is one of the bigger podcasts around, they went as press from Otaku USA Magazine and panelists.
Oh.
Yeah. And then Kevin and I did go as panelists. So, that said, and then the other caveat I do want to mention is that, yes, both Kevin and I are our staff for Hamicon, which is our local anime con, and I am one of the main directors for Hamicon. But I am not speaking for Hamicon in any form or fashion when I'm talking about AWA on this podcast. Okay. That said, but yes, Dylan, to point that out, yes, you have gone from potentially, 13 to 14,000 people to 18,000 people.
I didn't know that they changed kind of the metric they were using, like you said.
Now, even if we say, let's say 1,000 people represents all that other stuff.
They still grew quite a bit, and it was evident from being at the con.
Yeah, it was ginormous in size, and I think it is more than even they were expecting.
Even Friday was pretty packed.
Now, and to further exemplify this, these are based off numbers published by the Waverly and the Galleria themselves. In total, for event space, and this is including all panel rooms and event rooms. This is not including stuff like their AMV room or video rooms or gaming or dealer's room or RSL, but still, all the event space. You're looking at probably just under 5,000 seats that will be filled up at the convention. 5,000. Now, and even if we extrapolate, say, let's double that to include all the other spaces, that's still 10,000. you still have a good 7,000 more people who've got to find places to go.
Conservatively, 7,000.
Let's say even if it's, 15,000 spaces for people to go, that's still 2,000 people that still need places to go.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, you've taken, that con now needs way more space than I think they ever thought about.
And I believe that was why pre-reg went up so much for 2014.
Well, they straight up actually called them. They actually posted a announcement about that. Actually,
yeah, that's what I was referring to.
Where they were, they weren't really raising their prices throughout the years. They were still keeping them pretty low, and they were sort of pricing themselves out of commission. I'm guessing, and the reason why I say is this: AWA, while they are partially in a hotel, and you can get cheaper space with more hotel rooms that you can book out. And so I'm sure they're getting a great deal on the Waverly.
Yeah.
However, they're connected to a convention center. And a convention center, you're just paying out cash.
Yeah, convention centers are expensive.
You're just spending money to pay for space. And they ran out of space at the Waverly years and years and years ago. The only place they have the room to grow has been that convention center. Mm. And every time they grow, they're spending more and more money on that convention center. And they nickel and dime you like the crazy most convention centers. I can't speak experience for it anyway, but I can say convention centers in general cost money.
Yeah, anything you want will cost money. Like there's nothing gratis. Like you need an extra power strip. Well, that's more money,
Yeah.
Like that. And so if they're keeping their costs lower than they should while they're spending more and more money on that convention center, then I can see why they're sort of like, okay, guys, we need to raise some prices, or else we cannot pay for what we're trying to do. Because it's also a case of, another thing is that you kind of have to keep up with the Joneses.
Yeah.
Like you can't downgrade your con. Like if you set a bar, then people expect you to meet that bar forever forward. And if you you raise that bar, and if you keep raising that bar and you can never lower that bar, once again, that's more guests, that's more money, that's more whatever. Something has to either they had to downgrade themselves, either downgrade yourselves, or charge more money. And they obviously went the charge more money route, which they say is still competitive with other conventions of similar size, which is probably true. Although, admittedly, I did not look into those prices.
I think they were $35 this year because I actually did pre-reg next year.
Oh no, I can tell you the prices. I meant if they were in fact competitive with other cons, but probably they were. Okay. Right now, if you were to reserve or get a ticket for AWA 14 until January 1st, it's $42. It is $48 through July 1st and $55 through August 30th. And I'm looking at that's on the animecons.com page. So that still isn't for, an almost, 20,000 person anime con. That still is not a bad price. So, yeah, for example, Otakon was like $80 or $100 or something. I want to say something like really, really expensive. I mean, granted, it's a much bigger convention. It's like twice the size.
Yeah.
But, its costs were like almost double too.
Yeah.
So there is that. Thoughts?
Squirrels.
Yeah, squirrels. Sorry, I did want before we really go into any I just really want to throw all that info out there.
Oh, I'm not. I wasn't complaining about it at all. Like I having seeing that announcement and then seeing the numbers And because I think the episode we recorded when we came back, I pointed out that, like, Charlie and I both pointed out that the con seemed a lot larger. And so all of that information you just gave, like, totally makes sense. It's not completely unexpected.
Now, granted, they did, now you may ask, well, how did 80 pull that off? And the answer is really easy. His name was Zune.
Yeah.
The man who created Toho.
Who I gather is a recluse even in Japan and had never been to the U.S. before.
And
really? You're attributing, like, the entire growth or most of the growth to Zune?
A whole huge chunk of it.
That and maybe
I would not have realized that.
I think Zune was a big contribution. I kind of suspect the 4chan 10th anniversary panel was probably a draw.
Which only happened because of Zune.
Yeah.
Moot only showed up
because of Zune.
Huh.
See, that's interesting, because I was looking at it from the perspective of, Dragon Con grew, I think I looked at the numbers, about 5,000 people. I know Hamacon and Momocon both grew, like, by leaps and bounds last year, so I'm wondering if this is like
And so did SeishinCon, as I recall.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
I think, because I think SeishinCon and Momocon were both like a give or take about 40% increase. Like, it was a really huge jump
now
for each of them.
That is probably true, and I'm sure that also helps anyway as well. But I really think you can't not discount Zune as being their mainline crazy big guest.
Oh yeah, I was just wondering if it was like an economic indicator or something, like, oh well, everyone, there's more disposable income, therefore.
No, I really do think, like, Zune was their giganto catch. And it's a really interesting catch, because it's on anime. It's a video game stuff.
Yeah.
So that already shows you sort of a possible difference in perspective for 80 Wade, because it wasn't like they also got another good Japanese voice actor who I'm now blanking on the name of.
Yeah, well, they got two good Japanese voice actors.
Yeah.
Yu Asakawa and the guy who was Ataru in Urusei Yatsura, who's, I should know his name and just feel spit it off the top of my head, but I can't.
But usually 80 Way is like really big on trying to get like cool Japanese guests, and that's their normal guests of honor.
Mm-hmm.
This time they added in this video game guy, but as far as I know, no one's ever gotten this video game guy.
This was supposed to be his American debut. At least people kept saying that. I did not research that, but it's supposedly the first time he came to the U.S.
And I think this is, it's one of the few cases where, unfortunately, Japanese guests do not pay out, ever.
Usually, yeah.
I don't care who you are. Like, even with, they had the freaking creator Cowboy Bebop at Otakon.
Yeah, Shinichiro Watanabe.
And
wow.
He's gotten the closest. But for whatever reason, and it started kind of similar to Yoko Kanno. Yoko Kanno was and bands sometimes can be really huge draws. And I think Zune somehow hits that same thing, where a bunch of people are really invested into this video game series. Really invested, and suddenly the creator of this thing that they love is suddenly showing this anime con. They're going to go.
Mm.
And so I do think that was a lot of it. I think that was a big headline guest that 80 Way could claim that no other con, Anime Expo didn't get it, Otakon didn't get it, but you know what? Anime Week Atlanta got Zune. And I think for them, that is a feather in their cap. And it probably should be. I really don't know, as I don't get the Tohos. They're kind of like the Tumblers. It's kind of out of my experience.
It's funny because it's a bullet hell shoot 'em up, and it seems like that'd be up your alley. But
yeah, you think that. You think it actually probably is, in fact, right up my alley, as I do love bullet hell shoot 'em ups, even though I'm terrible at them.
I get the impression that it's one of those things you either know nothing about or you know everything about.
It is true. It is, because a lot of it is even like it's one of those things where a lot of, I believe, I could be wrong, but none of you know this, so you can't correct me on it. There is a whole lot of fan work also surrounding it.
There's a lot of, for something that is just a bullet hell shoot 'em up series, there's a lot of mythology. There's a lot of fluff text, a lot of background to these characters.
It is not dissimilar to like the similar movements to things like Vocaloid has had, or even other things that are, you know, more American nature, like Slender Man and Homestuck, you know, I believe in some senses. Well, probably more Slender Man than Homestuck, where Slender Man is more of a case of a lot of people just making stuff up and adding it to to the canon.
Slender Man is really an open source mythology. You just throw your stuff in, and if people reuse it, it sticks.
But and I think Toho is probably similar in nature, but I can't say because I'm not into it.
I don't know. I just know there's a lot of people who cosplay it, and there was there was even more than usual at this convention.
I will also say, speaking of guests, while we're talking about it, I was very sad that Carl Gustav Horn, the man, the myth, the legend, the manga editor from Dark Horse Comics, wasn't there this year, and that was very sad.
It's like the first AWA he's missed, like, no, I don't want to say ever, but since he started going,
that I remember,
decade at least,
that I remember, anyways. I mean, maybe he's missed one or two that I don't realize, but as far as I remember, yeah, he has not been around. He's always been around. Like, he's always been one of those things where it's like, okay, awesome, Carl Horn's here. I feel better about myself.
Carl Horn's here. He will magically materialize a Wings William Issei art book when needed. It's one of his powers.
It's true. I believe it's happened. Don't laugh.
Yes.
Like, it was amazing. Like, the man is a font of wisdom and knowledge unlike any before. And he has just the ability to go, actually, and then make things appear. And you're like, holy crap. We were talking about this like 30 minutes ago, and now you have something about it. How did you're a wizard. You are a wizard, Carl Gustav Horn, and that's why I love him. But, you know, I was really sad he wasn't there. I was also sad that, you know, Ed Chavez was not Raul again.
Yeah, he should have broke out the Rambo Raul costume again.
Although he says he does have the Mr. Raul outfit already for Gundam Build Fighters.
Awesome. Which, by the way,
I want to see him wear sometime.
Yeah, Mr. Raul, Gundam Build Fighters. Check it out. It's worth it.
Ed Chavez, also a huge Poke fan.
That's cool.
Like, really, like, he's really into it. Like, I did not know this man was into Pokemon. Like, I am surprised he's not petitioning for them to create a Pokemon, the origin manga, just so he can convince Vertical to license it, and then somebody else gets it instead. So that's guests. I mean, they had other guests, I guess. They had people. They had Grego from Grego's game shows, right?
Yeah.
He's cool.
Yes.
He's cool. I actually went to one of his game shows for once. I haven't done that in forever.
Yes.
I did too. Usually, I think we used to go to more, but I just have a hard time fitting them into schedules sometimes. Or at least the last couple times.
They're very much, you know, his game shows are very additive. Like, and if you have nothing else to do and you realize, oh, hey, there's a game show, they're always entertaining.
Yes.
True.
And I think Grego knows that, and he makes it work really well for him. But yes, trying to look through the list they have listed on anime.
I think it's
cons.com.
and 12. I think it's the 12 schedule.
Say, oh, that's from 12. There we go, 13.
Yeah.
But 13 still lists frickin' Gustav Horn.
It does, and he was not there.
Makes me
we
sad.
know that for a fact.
Anyways, you know, they did have, you know, Tim Eldred and Neil Nadelman were both kicking around, who are both awesome guys. And, you know, Vic Mignogna was there, guys. Vic Mignogna.
Was he?
Well, we
Kevin-
know he was there. He was at the game show as one of the celebrity contestants.
Oh.
But
I have a vague recollection of some frosted hair. So, yeah, that could have been him.
and he blew it for the second guy, so he blew the second guy's chance of winning.
Oh.
So, you know.
So
Because he likes hyphenated words.
Yes.
So all right, well let's kick it in. Let's get to the nitty gritty. Let's talk about things like what we did, and well, before we get to the nitty gritty, there are some things that I want to cover before I get into what we did, and that is, oh my God, food trucks, bringing them back every year.
Yes.
Yeah,
Food
More
truck.
cons need to do this.
that's true.
trust me, now speaking as a Hamicon representative, we want to do this so bad. We want to be able to do this so bad, and we're trying. We're trying so hard because it's brilliant. It is great. So what ADOA did is, in the back of the artist alley, they actually were able to open it up from the outside and drive in 4 food trucks. And they parked in the back of the artist alley, and you can go in there and get some food from a food truck. They had chicken and waffles. They had Vietnamese stuff. They had tacos, and they had hot dogs. All 4 major food groups.
It's true.
And I didn't ever get the Vietnamese stuff, but everything else was pretty baller.
I did like me some chicken and waffles.
Yeah, the only one I didn't try was the hot dog one, but everything I tried at the other 3 were really good. My only issue, I guess, was they were kind of hipstery. Like, they charged top
That's
dollar
what
for
every
their stuff.
food truck is going to be.
Here's the thing. I think we deserved at least a couple of like really kind of sketchy, shady ones where, yeah, you're only paying like $1 for 5 tacos. Will you end up with the most explosive diarrhea of your life? You know what? You're taking your chances, but you knew what you were getting into when you signed up.
I don't know. We live in the age of food trucks because, we just exited the age of cupcakeries being the big hipster food. So
True.
You can't escape it.
So why did we get a cupcakery truck?
Because I
You know
don't
what I
think
was
they
thinking?
make trucks.
No, sir.
Huntsville has one.
There are
Oh,
cupcake
oh,
food trucks.
Anyways.
Are they the fancy high? Anyway, yeah.
Yes.
And what was really nice was, at least for Friday, and I've heard offhand reports for other people that it didn't happen, but I kind of wonder. They were open during Artist Alley hours, and then they drove them back out to sort of a side parking lot where you can go up to midnight or 1 or 2 a.m. and still buy some food.
Yeah, supposedly.
And I'm wondering if a lot of people didn't just go far enough.
I don't know.
Because
now Friday night, I know somebody did find 1 or 2 of them, but they were under the impression that there would be like food trucks that weren't in the Artist Alley, and there was only like 1 or 2 out there, and they were. I think it may have just been the hot dog one from Artist Alley. It may have been the only one out there on Friday night, unless there was another place. And so then Saturday night, which I don't know that there was any promise there would be any Saturday night, we went looking and never could find any.
I don't know though. Trying to run food trucks that long at a con is probably.
Well, I can say that I did go to my first hot dog was in fact Friday night, after Anime Hill.
Yeah.
And I did get a hot dog, and it was pretty good. The hot dog I got the next day was way better, but the first hot dog was okay. Yeah, the food trucks were awesome. Please bring them back. Mm-hmm. That was a great idea. I didn't have to resort to contraband Chick-fil-A sandwiches from a guy in a bag like I did last year.
Yeah, you say that like it's a bad thing.
I'm ambivalent.
How are they contraband?
Well, there were just 2 guys with bags full of chicken sandwiches, and they were selling them.
Oh, no.
Yes.
They did. It did replace.
Yes.
And I think Charlie, you brought this up. It did replace when they had a couple food vendors back in the same area last year, and they had kind of a different variety, and the prices were much cheaper. So, you kind of give that up.
I did miss having Buckhead pizza in the Artist Alley because they were actually last year they were running some pretty excellent deals.
Oh yeah.
Well, there's I think a couple of other places that were selling food that around the edges of the Artist Alley, but I never really looked at it because I went straight. I saw food trucks and just went like hipster to honey, hipster to local honey.
The local.
Locally sourced organic honey.
Yes,
Yes.
of course.
Oh.
Still some question about whether it's vegan, but
Is honey
Not
vegan?
the hippies that I talked. Anyways,
Depends on the type of vegan you are.
that's a debate apparently.
Yeah, that apparently. I can see the argument.
but that was a good idea. And a dealer's room was a dealer's room.
Dealer's room
Yeah.
was totally a dealer's room. I actually bought a little bit from this.
I
year.
saw, although I no longer needed them, I did in fact see some Dragon Quest plushies, so that automatically makes it the best dealer room of the year.
I think this is the first dealer's room where I've actually gone around and bought manga thanks to your manga panel, which is kind of awesome.
So he went straight to the vertical booth.
And yelled at him for running out of Tropical Sea, although he did get more later.
Yeah.
Actually,
I bought the last one on
yep.
Sunday or Saturday. I can't remember which day it was.
Nice. Okay. Now we will get into...
And I didn't yell at him.
Well, he had him. He fixed it.
The day before, I didn't yell at him.
Well,
and I was rewarded the day after. I only
that's
assume
because I went
works.
myself and yelled at him.
Okay.
Was able to materialize a few more copies.
Yes. Okay, so actually at this point, let's take an audio break, and we'll come back with the events, the things that we did, starting with Friday. And we're back. And now we're starting with Thursday.
We did go to the old school classroom just a little bit.
We did. Well, a couple important things happened on Thursday. Was first, I fulfilled one of Charlie's previous moments of recommendations, where I injected Dylan with hug chemicals.
I think you are actually the only one who hugged me, which is a good thing.
And what was the result of your experiment?
Well, I was chemically balanced. I don't know how Dylan.
I've never been chemically balanced.
That is a fact.
Well, that's probably true. But how did you feel? Was it a good? Do I need to try it again? Do I need to? How can I better work at the hug experience for you, Dylan?
Yeah, I'm not exactly a huggy guy, so let's maybe not
more.
work at it at all.
Oh no!
We will be cool.
We can make this a better hug.
I don't know. I gotta sympathize with the not wanting hugs all the time.
Thank you,
That's all
Kevin.
right. That's still too bad. He's getting a hug right now.
Basil's hugging me right now.
now. I'm hugging Kevin.
Nah, it was just a subtle ploy to get hugged by Basil.
Yeah.
Really.
Right.
I feel like should Charlie and I take off our headsets and give you guys some time because I'm feeling.
No, you already come down to Huntsville too, and we'll get going.
Whoa. Okay.
Okay.
Hugs for everyone.
Hugs for everyone. I'm a big believer in the hugs.
Hugs for all and all for hugs.
But we did go to a little bit of old school classroom.
A little bit of Prince Planet.
A little bit of Prince Planet. It was Prince Planet, Knack. Was that really
I
showing
think it was playing Prince Planet. I'm pretty sure.
But was Prince Planet Knack? Did Knack make Prince Planet?
I don't think so. Well, that's a good question.
It's pretty good.
I don't think so. It looked way too high quality.
Yeah, that's true.
Knack is kind of inherently shitty. That's where you get your Charge Man Ken. And your a couple bad Go to Guy shows that went right out of my head, even though I talked about them on Sunday.
But on Friday, I will say I really do want to give tons of props to the events team at ADWay. Jason Merrill, Misty Sinclair, they do a bang up job. Misty does a great job. She one of my previous big complaints was trying to deal with the registration line on Thursday because they never seem to quite know what they're doing, especially with any sort of all the extra badges they would have to do for comps or panelists or media or what have you. And apparently Mrs. Sinclair decided, you know what, screw it, I'll give out those badges. And so she set up her own little table outside the panel rooms in the convention center, and you went to her to get your badge.
I saw that. Of course. No, you guys paid the $20 or $25 to get an early start badge, like I did. I didn't even have to stand in a line or talk to anyone.
Early start is awesome. I do like early start a lot. If you're paying for a badge, early start is worth it.
Yes.
And if you have that kind of money to double
it was
badge.
pricier than when The only other con I've remembered seeing that at is MomoCon. It was much pricier than when they did it. But
well, the trick
still
is
pretty cool.
with early start is that if you buy it as a group, it's still the same price.
Huh.
Or at least it's always, as far as I know, like if you do it as a group or as individual, it's the same price.
I didn't realize. I thought this was the first year they had offered that.
Oh no, they've offered early start for years now.
Huh.
Like for years.
I completely missed that then.
I used to be in charge of my local Anime Con's early start package. Like we compile the names and pay it, and they mail it to me, and I give it to all the.
Did they do individual early starts?
Well, I think when you buy your badge, whether it's a group set of badges or an individual badge, you have the option to do early start.
Okay.
So that is the trick. Is that if you do it as a group, then awesome, you'll get it all in one, but it's the same price either way.
Okay.
So if you can do it as a group, you can still do early start with the one price, as far as I know, and that's it. But yeah, Misty did a great job. She got to meet all the panelists. That they had to come say hi to her. They had to get their badge from her or one of her staff, and so they had to meet with an events person.
And I got to ask if we, had any special needs or, got to see our faces. So, maybe they would recognize us later.
And it gave them a great view of all the lines that ended up happening for people to get in those little panel rooms.
Yeah, those little panel rooms had a tendency to build up some big lines.
Which was, that was the downside of events for Week in Atlanta, was getting into those panel rooms.
As we discussed our room capacity discussion from earlier and versus how many people are actually there, some panels had really big lines and not everyone got a seat.
Well, let's put it this way. The average size of those panel rooms, you're looking at, they could be as little as, 100 to like 200. Depending on which one of the rooms you go into. I don't really want to give, I may or may not have actual numbers and I don't feel, but how I got them, I don't probably know if I should be able to talk about them publicly or not. I'm not sure. Because I don't know how they publish them. But, the trick is that, if you want to go to a panel and it fills up real fast, then they immediately hit room capacity and they can't get anyone else in. And so suddenly this panel you really want to go to, you can't.
Yep.
And that can suck.
Mm-hmm.
There were a couple of times where, in fact, I was dragging real hard. I needed some caffeine. So I stepped out, grabbed some caffeine, and when I came back, it was filled. Like within moments. And so all I could do was take the other Coke I'd bought for a friend of mine who was still in the room, hand him the Coke, and then walk out.
Dang.
That's all right. I mean, that happens, and I'm sure the panel was good.
Well, like I said on when we first talked about it on Chainsaw Buffet, like the panel rooms that we found were filled up were actually panels I'm glad were filled up. Well, it's cool to see them getting that kind of attention.
That's true, and I can say at least for next year, they're I'm positive they are going through ideas. They are going through because they know that they were stuck with tons of lines they were not planning for, and a whole bunch of filled rooms. And I know there are in fact more rooms they can stuff into.
Yep.
There are more rooms that they can stuff into, and I think they thought they had done themselves better because they had. I want to say around 20 to 30 more panels this year than they did last year. They, in fact, had more going on this year than they did last year to try and, still eat up more time. And even then, that wasn't enough because, unfortunately, they can't get bigger rooms, which would be the optimal solution, I believe. If they could just suddenly magically double all room sizes to fit in more people. But they do have the option of renting out more rooms and filling it with more events. And it might be one of those cases that they do something that Otakon does, where Otakon will, in fact, intentionally do 2 or 3 similar panels at the same time, where you are forced to pick one.
So it kind of spreads out the audience.
Right, because Otakon is so big, they have no other choice. Like, say, Warhamicon to do something like that. That would just... Everyone would go to one panel, and the other 2 panels would be destroyed. But when you have an over-influx of people, like Otakon does, and apparently AWA has now, it's a really good way of, spreading the love.
Mm.
So maybe instead of having, doing, my manga you need to buy right now, and then and then later on having a culinary manga panel, and then later on having another kind of manga panel, you may want to have all 3 manga panels at the same time. And then people have to pick which manga panel they want to go to.
You'll go see one that's filled up, and you'll go, well, maybe I'll check out that other manga panel.
And that might be a solution they can do instead. But the first panel I went to, coincidentally, was attending conventions like a boss, which was done by our friends at StationCon.
Where they revealed all the secrets of getting free badges at cons. Fortunately,
Seriously?
Fortunately, it was a relatively small room.
Yes, in fact, they did.
Yes.
Well, the trick is to run panels or be staff at another convention and negotiate a table swap.
Or create a podcast?
That works on some cons, not some other cons.
Our secret is safe. No. I always pre-register.
But they were full of useful tips of making your way around a con and not, and surviving the process.
Yeah, it was good, and it was nice to know talking to them later on and asking them questions, based on what they said, and really that they also don't follow still many of their own, suggestions.
They occasionally don't follow their own rules, but do as they say, not as they do.
Well, if you know the rules, well, then you know when you should break them.
It's true. And following this was my split time, where I was able to attend half of Extra Innings baseball and anime manga, also ran by the StationCon guys, specifically Drew and Richard. And it was awesome. It was about baseball and anime manga, and I enjoyed it. But I had to dash out because I wanted to catch at least part of the worst business decisions in anime and manga.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Which was done by Daryl and Gerald of ADBO, and as well as sitting in with them was Ed Chavez from Vertical. And they went through a lot of the really bad decisions that both American and Japanese anime companies have made throughout the years.
Cool.
And
They almost made it entirely about Bandai when in the drawing stage. Well, actually, I think they were originally going to make it all about how Gundam was mismarketed in America. Then they kind of expanded into all the ways Bandai had screwed up. And then it turned into everyone.
because it follows a lot of similar themes, where a lot of it is Japan thinks they have hot shit, and they don't have hot shit. They just have, lukewarm to pretty warm shit, but it's not shit hot. Or Americans,
Or, like a division paying way too much money for shows no one's ever going to watch to license.
Yeah. Things like that. It was a really, really interesting panel.
And much speculation that Dando, the Super Shot, the anime based on a golf manga, may have sold single-digit copies in the U.S. Marketing data is not entirely clear.
But I could only stay for 30 minutes of it because at 3:30 on that Friday, I had to do my manga you need to buy right now. Which reminds me, I need to post a list for manga you need to buy right now.
Yes, you should post a list of manga you need to buy right now.
At some point, I need to post that list.
I only caught the last half of that because I stayed for all of the worst business decisions in anime and manga. But, Basil does his shtick. He shows you a bunch of manga you should probably be reading. And I'm negligent in that I hardly do. But they all sound really good.
So what did you buy, Dylan? What did you buy?
I bought a couple of volumes of Twin Spica. Well, not a couple. There's one that had several on sale. I'm only missing number 5, but which at this point it's out of print, I think. So
Did they have a copy of 11?
I don't think so. There's one place that had like 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, and 12.
Because 11's a jerk to find. 11's like super expensive.
I kind of figure when I get to 5, when I actually get around to reading it, I will have to just get the digital and whatever. I got Tropic of the Sea. I want to say I got something else. I can't think of anything else I got. No, I've bought, I think, all the other manga I bought from you, your list. I've gotten a couple of issues of the Kurosagi Corpse Delivery Service, but that's also been hard to find.
Yeah, that's one that your best bet for that one is probably digital at this point.
Yeah. And I think I will have to do certain issues. I found a bunch at the local used bookstore, but they're all spread out.
Right.
And I've also bought several volumes of A Bride's Story. I think that was from one of your older ones.
Oh, I recommend that you read them, and then on the chainsoffadepodcast.com, you should, if one really does speak to you, you should mention it as one of your recommendations.
I may. It's been, I don't know, like I haven't gotten too much of the Twin Spica yet. I haven't gotten to Tropic of the Sea, so I bought a lot of these, but I'm kind of behind.
Oh, that's cool. I do want to recommend, though, while I'm talking to people on the internet, speaking of the internet, Weekly Shonen Jump is still the best deal in manga. Period. It's like $26 for a year. And it's full chapters of One Piece, Naruto, Bleach, One Punch Man, whenever they come up, the new Yu-Gi-Oh series, Blue Exorcist, and some other stuff, World Trigger, and they started a brand new vampire thing that just started like last week. But it's like several hundred, there's like 100 to 200 pages of manga like every week. Translated and most of it's day and date with Japan. Like when the latest issue of Shonen Jump hits newsstands in Japan for the latest chapter of One Piece, you get the latest chapter of One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump on your tablet. Because it's digital, so they can afford to do so. And it is just the best deal in manga. They also mail you Yu-Gi-Oh cards, which you can flip on eBay. And in many cases, pay off your subscription to Weekly Shonen Jump. I know some people who successfully made money off this.
Wow.
So, it's also the manga that will pay you back.
Now that you've
you know
revealed the secret, you've just devalued the cards, so now you can no longer make
Well, that's okay, because whenever I get the cards, I have to give them to Ann anyways. So it's...
as it should be.
It's what happens when you're with a Yu-Gi-Oh person. But I'm glad that people are buying manga that I think are awesome, because I do think they're awesome.
And I really think you do a good recommendation panel, because this is what any good recommendation panel should not be. Oh man, this is so awesome and I'm such a huge fan. It should be, if you like X, then you will like Y. And that tends to be what you do, because you'll notice I don't think I've picked up any of the Shonen Jump. Oh, I also picked up Attack on Titan.
Oh yeah, that one, man, that's a special butterfly in manga form. I mean, anime as well, but manga, the dude, his drawings are not that great, but I really feel that in some ways makes it even better, just because that really, it adds this extra veneer of creepiness.
Yeah. I mainly got it, because I've held off on it, but I mainly got it at this all, just because it's going to be a while, I think, before I actually watch the anime.
Right.
Because it's subbed right now, and I have to, sit down and do nothing but, I have to take special intention to do that. Not, I can't just put it on while I'm doing something else.
Special Dylan time.
Yeah. But yeah.
But my the other thing I did before that was I did go a bit to the culinary manga done by Aaron Finnegan and Noah, Reverse Thieves, and culinary manga. Well, no, I couldn't go. Never mind. I didn't go to culinary manga because it was full.
I think I had that marked down, and I can't remember if I was just doing something else or if it was full.
I think we were actually getting dinner because we forgot about it.
Yeah.
Well,
until we were partway through.
I know. I went to her panel of culinary manga last year, and it was very enjoyable. Whatever year I went was very enjoyable. She does a good manga panel too. And which is good because I think we're like some of the only ones that do manga panels. But I did follow that up with eventually going to Anime Hell, and Mr. Dave Merrill once again does an amazing job of showing us crazy videos.
Yeah,
True.
I think in between that, we went to Gods of Japan.
Oh yeah. I saw that
Which-
with you guys.
I think that's the first time I've actually seen that panel all the way through. Which the Gods of Japan and Ghosts of Japan are always pretty good, although I don't know how much they vary up the stories. So now that I've seen them,
granted, I think I've only seen each one at this point 1.5 times, but I get the feeling that the only variation they kind of do is if they're running short on time and they'll skip some and go to other ones instead. But I don't know that I've seen one and been like, oh wow, I really don't remember them ever, So I don't know if they vary it up all that much, but I think it's definitely worth going at least once to each one because they do a really excellent job.
They do whatever I've caught it, like especially MTAC and GMX and other things because they're Tennesseans, I believe, and they do a real good job. And I would love to have them at HammockCon. They do good work,
and they tend to pack rooms. Like, I mean, the surge in attendance aside, even at MTAC, every time I've tried to get into one of those two panels, which more than the 1.5 times each, there have been other times, it seems to always degenerate to standing room only. Yeah, they seem to, and maybe they wouldn't somewhere else, but man, they generally seem to draw a pretty good sized crowd.
So, anything else that you want to mention about Friday?
nope. I think that's
A couple of quick notes. Just an overall note that analog gaming being in a completely different hotel was not terribly convenient. Issues with getting space and whatever aside, and that's probably the best they could do. It was still because they would just, take the sky bridge. But once you actually got off the sky bridge, you then had to sort of navigate around, cross a semi-busy street. I mean, it wasn't as easy as just going across the sky bridge to find. And then that puts you at toward the top of the hotel, and then you had to work your way back down to go in, to work your way partially back up to finally get to analog gaming.
the game was getting there.
Yeah, actually, I did make that joke a couple times, that what they should, because they had somebody there greeting you saying, "Hey, what do you want to play? What are you interested in?" And I'd said, what they really need to say is, "You did it! You won! That was the game! You found us!"
The Sheridan, that Skybridge is terrible. It does a bad job of giving you from one hotel to the other because I'm assuming it's actually trying to get you to that mall.
Oh yeah. I definitely think so.
I last year I was stuck at that hotel to go for the convention.
Oh.
And it was. Yeah, here's a tip, kids. If you want your room for AWA, February 1st at 9 or 8 a.m. is when they go up for reservations. You get on that. You get on that fast.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it seems like any convention with more than say a couple of thousand attendees, man, you wait for it, and as soon as they put them on, you get your room.
Yeah. So all right,
but analog gaming, yeah. Oh man. I wanted to briefly mention the Chris Sabat Q&A because I do not do voice actor Q&As anymore because they are so god awful. But Chris Sabat it was beautiful because I came in like 40 minutes in because I was like, oh man, I don't want to do this. But I was like, oh man, but Chris Sabat, I hear he's pretty funny. And I got to walk in at the moment that he's trolling a Dragon Ball Z fan because the guy asked him to do the it's over 9,000 bit and he kept intentionally screwing it up. Like instead of doing Vegeta's line, doing Nappa's lines and then he would act like he was the victim. Like, I don't know. I did it that way because you told me to do it and that made you unhappy. So I did it this way and that made you unhappy. And I'm just trying to help you out. It was, oh, good Lord. It is what every voice actor panel should be when those questions come up. It should just be like off.
You will feel shame.
Yeah. Voice actors should make those people. And the thing is, he did it in such a charming way that it really was like, I am giving you what you deserve, but you're going to thank me for it anyway.
And you will laugh about it because you will think I'm just kidding.
Exactly. So that was beautiful. The autograph line afterwards, not so much. I guess it was just because of the number of people that the timing was not very well done. Like halfway through the line, they changed the rules of what you could get signed. And the thing is, you might say, well, maybe you should have shown up to the line earlier. That entire line showed up half an hour before. At the time that they opened the line that you could line up, everybody was already there.
Yeah, I feel that's probably a case of the more people you have to attend your convention, the lines are going to get exponentially larger.
Yeah.
For everything.
So what ended up happening, because they started off saying, okay, you can get, I think it was like 2 things signed or 1 thing signed and get your picture with him and lets you buy merchandise from him. And then I was about halfway back in the line, and a little bit before me, they changed it to, well, we're hurt for time, so now it's you get 1 thing signed or you get your picture with him. By the time I actually got to the front, those rules were the same, but they were like, okay, we need to hurry. They were trying to race people through the line because he had somewhere to be. So it was a little bit of, I guess they weren't expecting that size line, and once they had it, they didn't anticipate how long it was going to take to move that number of people through. Let's see. The only other note that I really want to mention then is wrestling in Japan, because I don't think any of you went to it.
No, that was actually the one that I was going to go to. That filled up.
Yeah, and it was really well done. The guy, it's only the second time he's ever done it. I think the other time is in South Carolina. I think that's where he's from. But it was really well attended, and he did a really, really good job of mixing the anime with the live action and just showing like weird wrestling stuff out of Japan. It was just, he ran it really well. He seemed to really know his stuff. The video quality was as good as he could hope to get for old wrestling clips, but it was really nicely done. So I think it's worth mentioning that. So if you see that at a convention, I wish I could remember the guy's name, but if you ever get a chance to go to that panel, I do highly recommend it.
All right. Well then, that was Friday. We're going to be taking a short break, and we'll be right back with more of OSMcast and Taylor Buffet talk about Eddie Buffet about Saturday. Saturday, AWA. This is the OSMcast and Chainsaw Buffet. Who are you listening to? Find us at OSMcast.com and at ChainsawBuffet.com. Your podcast for everything awesome and chainsaws.
In case you just happen to skip 45 minutes into the podcast.
There you go. So, because I'm going to talk about some Astro Boy, which was the panel was called Astro Boy Forever, and it was done by Frederick Schodt. And this is one of my personal heroes in anime and manga. He wrote Manga, The World of Japanese Comics, which was published in 1983 and is the very first book that was a substantial book about manga. He is the guy who translated the original Astro Boy comics, and he is one of the forerunners for making manga something important.
He also translated the Mobile Suit Gundam novels in English the first time, anyway.
Like, he was one of the original OG translators for Japanese stuff in the United States. And he actually talked and knew Tezuka, Osamu Tezuka. Wow. Like, he is one of the most foremost guys to talk about Tezuka and Tezuka stuff, especially Astro Boy. And he did. He did it was a really neat topic. He actually based it more on the manga than the anime. And he really went through the early versions. He had a lot of awesome pictures. And it was a really fascinating discussion he gave, or presentation he gave. And I really, really enjoyed it. I was sad I couldn't get the knack, which was Dave Merrill's, about the studio knack, who does really bad animation, really cheap animation.
Really cheap animation. That's really often bad. Really bad.
But I really, really enjoyed the Astro Boy panel. I really, really had. I'm really glad I went. What did you guys start off doing on Saturday?
I think we headed to, I cannot remember the name of it, but it was like making your own, making Japanese snacks at home or something like that, which was, full. Wait for it, full.
That was the first panel that we experienced as being full that day. Not the last.
I think the next one
we ended up in Sweet Sweet History, though.
Yes.
Which was really good. It was the sort of history of Japanese desserts and snack food. Mostly dessert, but it was pretty cool. I mean, they gave a lot of the history of different stuff, and there were lots of free samples, and I ended up with Purple Potato Kit Kat, which was amazing.
Green tea Kit Kats are also awesome.
They would disagree with you. They actually said that was the one that they could not stand.
Really? Well, I guess it depends on how much you really like green tea, because it does taste like green tea, but also a Kit Kat. I enjoy it, but I can see why someone would not.
Yeah. So I don't know if this really tasted like purple potato, but it was delicious. I was only sad that they ran out of cherry blossom before I could get up there. But it was a pretty well done panel. Like I said, lots of free samples and chances to win candy or just get candy. So pretty cool.
But yeah, I know that for me, I didn't do anything else until 4 p.m. when I went to unusual manga genres.
You bastard! You got into that.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that
I
was
did.
the Reverse Thieves again, wasn't it?
That was the Reverse Thieves. That was Erin doing her thing and talking about salaryman manga and sports manga and this other manga. She had a whole bunch of really weird, crazy ass stuff.
I like the Legend of Koizumi, where a former Japanese prime minister and various world leaders play mahjong against each other in increasingly crazy ways.
Yes,
I kind of have an urge to try to find that somehow.
Because what was it, Seishincon? It was at one of the conventions.
It was at Hamacon, but it was the guys who run Seishincon.
It was Drew and
salary manga.
Was it? Who was it? Was it Drew and Richard?
It's probably Drew and Richard.
Yeah, they did. They brought that one to their salaryman manga panel, and yeah, that thing looks just intensely weird.
Oh man, yeah, it's good stuff, man. Anytime you see a Erin Finnegan panel, she knows her manga stuff.
She seemed to set out to prove, and pretty much succeeded. If you could imagine a type of manga, a subject for a manga, someone has probably made it.
Wow.
And probably someone else made a ripoff of it.
What's it? It was, what was it? Not alpacas, although alpacas did too.
There was an alpaca manga.
There was the other
thing.
Chinchillas? No. It was a thing that Neil made fun of. Capybaras. There's capybara mangas, and they were adorable. Oh man, it was good. I couldn't stay for the very end of it though, because we had to dash. Which is this. Thank God we got to this panel, which we called "Petals and Penguins: The Works of Kunihiko Ikuhara," which was the panel that Kevin and I did.
Yay!
Gotta say, record attendance for this panel. Let me. Good job, us.
Yeah.
So it was you and Kevin and a dude?
Several dudes and some ladies. It was nice. Like at Hamicon, we had like 5 people.
Yeah.
And then at SeishiCon, we had like 8 to 10 people.
Nice.
And I think 2 of them were us.
I think we might have broke 20.
No, we had half that room. We had half that room. We had at least 50 people eventually in that room.
Yeah.
Like it finally got people in there. And I do agree with Daryl Surratt. When we do this panel next, I'm going to call it Sailor Moon, Utena, and more.
Yeah, we need to get like Sailor Moon and Utena in the title so people have an idea what they're getting into.
Yeah,
that is a good idea because more and more it's getting difficult to like, oh, I'm gonna look up the schedule and now I've got to cross-reference it with the program and I left that in my room. Crap.
Kids these days don't know the names of the creators. They need to get off my anime lawn.
Adults these days, no one knows the names of the creators. That's where I screwed up. I always think because I would do a creator because it's been a while since we've done a creator-focused panel that wasn't Go Nagai. And Go Nagai is one of the few names you can actually say. And some people know what you're talking about.
I know for a fact when we did the first Go Nagai panel a couple of years back that I know that at least some people who continued to talk to me got turned on to Go Nagai from that panel.
Yeah, we lucked on that one. We'll talk more about Go Nagai later, but it went well.
Yeah.
We talked about all the things that the director did. And people seemed to enjoy themselves, and I know some people ended up started getting into at least some of the different Penguin Drum and Utena because of it. So, go us!
If one person watches Utena because of this panel, or Penguin Drum, but I'd rather they watch Utena secretly in my heart, I'm happy.
And I believe the next thing that we did was, I think this is when we got dinner,
probably.
But then we went to Anime Password.
Oh yeah.
Grego's Game Shows,
which is
Anime Password.
I think that's when Charlie and I showed up.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was Password. You got to try to say one word that's not the word you're trying to get them to guess that will make them guess the word you're trying to make them guess, which is probably more convoluted sounding than it really is.
Kind of like Taboo.
Yeah.
If kids these days even remember what that was.
But it worked out. Like, I learned that either myself or Anna would be pretty awesome at this game.
Yeah.
Well, everyone was sitting, like, I remember Kevin and Charlie, and cause I think I was sitting between you two, like, we kept, like, oh, I know it. I know what that is. Why don't they say what that
is?
Obvious. Man, I knew it.
Because we don't have pressure.
As soon as he listed cross, I knew it. It was baseball. It was baseball because that's cross game. I knew it. I knew the only person in that room who knew it was me. The only 2 people who knew in that room was Grego and me. And I think he knew it too. And that's but Princess 9, Vic Manana was in it, so he was banking on Vic figuring it out. Eventually.
It should have been a dead like, we got around to the last clue. It was supposed to be like the dead giveaway clue. You haven't gotten it so this far.
And the clue was anime.
Yes.
The clue was anime. Because he first said cross game, Princess 9. I think he did one other baseball title, and then anime. And it's like,
Well, it's kind of weird. You have to, like, trying to figure out that he's talking about a genre because that seems so different from a lot of the puzzles he gives. I will cut them a little bit of slack.
Well, the only reason that I know is because I'm a really big fan of sports anime.
Yeah.
And so is Grego. Because he's a really big fan of sports in general. And nowadays, it's hard enough to be, to find, even in, anime fans, find sports anime fans, which can be two separate things entirely. More importantly, there's a trick of finding baseball fans and then baseball anime fans.
Yeah.
So,
but that was interesting.
I could see it. But yeah, Gregor does a good game show, and because I remember, man, back in the day, back when I first started going to AWA, his game shows were one of those things that kept me going back to that convention.
Oh, wow.
When he first started doing them. Because I've been going to AWA since AWA 5. And I haven't missed one yet since then. And just for reference, their 20th anniversary is next year. And I don't know if that means it's their 20th year or their 21st year. I think it's their 20th year.
I believe so, because I think this was all in 19.
So yeah, that means that'll be my 15th or 16th AWA.
Wow.
So, wow, I've been going to this con a long time.
They should make you an honorary director by now.
They should.
Oh, I know enough of them. Anyways, after that was Panel of Doom.
Greatest anime openings.
Oh, no, you're right.
That
was greatest anime openings.
I mean, pretty self-explanatory title from the Anime World Order trio.
And for Kevin and I, it's great because they have the same taste in anime as we do.
Largely, yeah.
And so we're like, oh yeah, it was that one. Oh yeah, it was that one. Oh man, that one.
Play King Gainer. We all start doing the monkey in the front row.
Yeah.
Man,
I can't wait for that anime to get back. Back into print. Like that is a really, really neat, interesting, weird mecha show that I think everyone should watch at least once. It is possibly my favorite Tomino, who is original creator of Gundam. It might be my favorite show of his that's not Turn A.
Probably never be commercially available. Zabungle's almost kind of up the same alley as King Gainer. It's wacky, whimsical strangeness.
But, and they did a really good job of trolling everyone with all their various versions of the Attack on Titan opening.
I don't think they ever played the real opening.
Well, they played the real opening in that they played the 4chan meme that was turned into the opening.
Yeah. Yes, that was awesome.
As a side-by-side comparison with the original opening.
Guys, you can put SNK on it. You can't just put SNK on anything.
Which is annoying because it's AOT. It is AOT. SNK is a video game company that makes fighting games. It is not.
I know.
Get off.
And I understand why people do that. But at the same time, I keep thinking of Daryl Surratt's thing about, or at least the first time I saw him mention this was on Twitter. Like, yeah, if you say SNK, you're probably pirating it.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. It's very true.
You insist on SNK.
Like, I believe that 100%. That is absolutely true.
You say SNK,
screw you people.
Yeah, you say SNK, I'm looking for my Shiranui and Terry Bogard.
Yeah, totally. Or Samurai Showdown. Sweet Samurai Showdown. Oh, sorry.
It's been so long since I've played an SNK game that
I was feeling a little on there.
My definition is sort of fluid at this point. I can accept both.
You're wrong. Quit pirating, Dylan.
Quit pirating, Dylan.
Mine is more, again, as with One Piece, mine is more apathy than anything else. Sorry.
Anyways, I felt they did a very good mix of different kinds of openings. Newer stuff, older stuff. They still need to play the opening to Eccentric Family, but that's just personal. Wonderful Daily Life is very important to me.
It's a pretty opening.
I also, for more newer stuff, I would have loved to see Gotchaman Crowd's opening.
Yeah.
Because I feel that's a great, terrible song. That, if you ever were interested, like, go listen to the Gotchaman Crowd's opening, then find a translation, and realize what the English words that are coming out of her mouth.
His? It's a guy.
Wow.
I've seen the real music video. It's a man.
That's even more impressive. Wow. That's
I know.
Awesome.
It does not sound like a man.
No, it doesn't. Wow.
That was a pretty good show, if a fairly weird interpretational ending.
My mind is kind of blown by that fact. Thanks, Kevin.
Yeah, that's a guy.
You got me.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets me. You got me. man. But anyways, they ended that with the music video for the next opening for Space Dandy, which is by the creator of Koiwa Watanabe's new anime that's coming out next year. And I saw what they were doing because it was a transition piece between Gray's openings and Panel of Doom. However, I do think, unfortunately, it broke the rules, I believe, for clips, that if you wait too long, you start losing people's interest.
Yeah, it goes on a little long.
It does.
Well, I mean, it's because it's the full song, it's the full music video. It makes sense. It's supposed to go that long.
True.
But, and I can understand why they didn't want to try and cut that. But unfortunately, I do think that near the end it was starting to lose people. But then Daryl came in with Panel of Doom, and it was a good one.
The 10-year anniversary Panel of Doom.
Which it is crazy to think about, watching a lot of those videos and recognizing a lot of those videos and going, man, it has been 10 years. Holy crap.
Singing along with Monkey vs. Robot.
Man, that was a life-defining video.
Yes. Monkey
that was a
Robot.
life-defining video. Let's go back in time for AWA 6 here, all right? AWA 5. I didn't go to the Anime Hell because I didn't know what Anime Hell was yet. It was my first Anime Con ever.
Wow.
I did see End of Ava there. And I think that was the first time I saw Star Blazers. I believe we saw Star Blazers that year. I know I had to run through Nerf fights to get places. Because I still did Nerf fights back then.
Nerf Wars or
Nerf Wars.
Gone.
Yeah, Nerf Wars. Back in the day, they used to do Nerf Wars in the middle of the hallways late at night.
Awesome.
Just doing it. And people were doing that too, I hear. But anyways, and the way we had planned it was we were smart, right? We were going to, instead of getting a room for Thursday night, we would leave late Thursday night and get there Friday morning. And that didn't work. Well, we got there, but we kind of didn't sleep for Thursday at all because we were too excited because we were going to an anime con.
Yeah.
Because we were young and stupid.
Yeah.
This was 15 years ago. And
well, after 15 years, you kind of know what an anime con
right,
is.
but we were like, we were still, we weren't even in our
stupid,
20s
just
yet.
inexperienced.
And no, I still think we were stupid.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
And I remember Friday night just crashing.
Yeah.
Just crashing hard. And then I discovered what Anime Hell was. Like, I want to do that. And so anyway, 6, I made sure I'm going to Anime Hell. And oh man, those were funny videos. And just seeing Monkey vs. Robot, that was the greatest thing ever. And then I'd go to Anime Hell next year, and then they played it again, and it was like, man, learning about Hino and all sorts of things. It was definitely a young adult defining, experience. Early Hells were for me, and I think it's that's where the Pain Train comes from. Is a direct inspiration from that, and hell, even for Daryl Surratt, that's where Panel of Doom comes from. Is Anime Hell? It all comes from hell.
It all comes from hell.
True.
And so
Pain Train's really good though.
I tried. Thank you very much. But seeing a lot of those Doom clips were also old Hell clips that Daryl would regurgitate because Dave Merrill's bored with them, and it was just a really neat thing. And also, he gave me plenty of new material that I'll be premiering at my holiday paid train on November 9th, Hamicon Minicon 2013. You should go to it. Screw that other anime con in Tennessee.
Wow. Making friends.
Actually, don't screw. If you live in Tennessee or in our area, you want to go to that one, go for it. Awesome. It's an actual full day event. We're just doing a 1 day thing. It's really more for locals around Huntsville and North Alabama. But man, do I have some videos for you.
We'll see them at Hamicon next year, though.
No, you won't.
You won't? Oh.
I might show one or two, but I don't show all of them.
He does this specifically just to bait us, just so you know.
No, I do. Well, no, it's a holiday themed Pain Train.
Blah blah blah.
Oh.
And this year, I'm going to be doing new consoles, and so therefore, I'm also talking about old consoles, like the old Nintendo. And I'm going to find old videos from the old Nintendo and talk about all the latest and greatest graphics.
Nice.
Will blast processing be in it?
That's a good idea. I should. This might be more of a console wars retrospective of terrible commercials and news reports.
Because remember when we thought blast processing actually meant something?
Well, no, because I read Nintendo Power and it told me it was a lie. Nintendo never lied to me, but Sega was a dirty liar.
Nintendo Power
Nintendo
was like the Fox
better.
News and MSNBC of its day. That's where we learned to be this divided and polarized.
Wow.
Yeah, but Sega did what Nintendo don't. Well, Nintendo did it. What? Nintendo.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's okay. Phantasy Star 4 is still the best RPG ever made.
So that was Saturday. Any final thoughts or any final recollections before we move on?
I think the only other panel we haven't mentioned that I think needs mentioning is we went to Business and Art, which was kind of cool. Not that any of us are planning to do art as business. And in fact, it was kind of like it's kind of like when I went to ECGC earlier this year. It's like, haha, I'm 30. I don't have any pretensions of making money off of this stuff. But it's interesting to see people who are doing the publishing and the web publishing and the Artist Alley stuff and being super serious about it. And,
Yep.
you know.
And the three ladies that were doing it, I mean, they really knew their stuff. If you had a question for them, they could generally answer it with really good detail. But it was a really good. If you were ever thinking about like getting an Artist Alley table or just like doing some art and selling it, that's a good panel to go to. And they have done. I'm almost positive they have done. I've seen another panel that they've done at their convention. And maybe it was MomoCon. I'm not 100% sure.
I wonder if they were involved in the roundtable that happened when the Artist Alley 101 panel did not happen at MomoCon last year.
I don't know, but I saw them at a panel where they were the actual panelists. I'm positive of it. But the only other note that I have really, I think, was 4:00 on Saturday was a really dark time for me. That was because earlier in the day, we couldn't get into the Japanese cooking thing. 4:00 was where it was 3 panels in a row I couldn't get into. Couldn't get into unusual manga genres. Actually, I think the first one we tried was Anime Worth Watching. And couldn't get into it. And like, well, okay, I guess it makes sense. It's a pretty good draw. Okay, can't get into it. And then it was like unusual manga genres. Like, okay, there's no way unusual manga genres is going to be full because that's just such an offbeat topic. And of course it was full. And then finally I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to pick one. Okay, Sabbath dub scenes. I don't know what this is, but it could be pretty entertaining. And I think it was in Kennesaw. Yeah, it was in Kennesaw. And Kennesaw's a big room. It's like, okay, fine, I'll go to that. It was full. And I was like, screw this noise. And I just ended up puttering around the dealer's room for a while. Then the only other thing that I went to that I think you guys didn't was I actually went to the Crunchyroll panel, which was, it was all right. I mean, they just showed some shows they were talking about some shows they were getting new seasons of or new shows altogether. And then at the end, they tried to actually show the most recent episode of Attack on Titan, but I think they only got about 10 or so minutes in before they had to stop for the next panel.
Well, there you go. Well, that really sucks. That there's nothing that can kill a con groove than not getting to do what you want to do several times in a row.
Yeah, it's like, it's bad enough. Okay, plan A didn't work out. Oh, plan B didn't work out. But when like your third tier.
Yeah, I think that even before that string of panels being full, like once it had happened a couple of times, we started realizing that this was not our experiences. This was, the con this year.
Yeah.
It's probably more packed than usual.
Yeah, this definitely was the year that it really was. Because I've actually had the same problem anyway in previous years. There were several panels last year I wanted to go to that I couldn't go to because it was full.
Mm.
Oh, I never had one that was a bunch in a row.
Yeah.
But this is really a case where a con outgrows its space.
Yeah.
And I know that, admittedly, I kind of would like to see possibly a new venue for AWA, personally. I think there's got to be another place that's bigger. Because I do think a lot of the issues would be solved with just bigger rooms in general. Now, I could be wrong. I have not looked at the hotels of Atlanta to know what they can or cannot actually do.
I think they probably have looked into it themselves. They may be in the...
Well, I also know that they have a really good relationship now between the Cobb Galleria and, the Waverly.
That's true.
They've done a lot of different things. Furthermore, I don't know, for example, what are the video room sizes? Could they do the video rooms hold more or less people than those panel rooms? Could they switch around with that stuff? I'm sure they've also looked at that. But I really would like more spaces in the room, but if you can't do it, I guess their other thing is to add more rooms, which is something that they still can do in the Galleria. And this may be a case of, since they think they know they've got more space, well, they haven't really outgrown it because they've got more space they can move into.
Yeah.
But I just don't know how many more rooms they can seriously add and also be able to fill with content.
Yeah.
That be worthwhile content and keep people interested.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
Unless you use smaller rooms and set up like a projector and sound system scenario where you can actually use them as overflow for the really popular events. Because at that point, if you could work out something like that, or do something like what Dragon Con has done with the whole Dragon Con TV thing, where you can actually broadcast stuff from panels, like the really popular ones, into the rooms at the hotel.
Right.
Something to allow for an overflow situation.
But now I could be wrong, but a lot of those are like not more interesting, but like actual actors and things.
True.
Where all these panels that we're talking about, by and large, are fan panels that fans have made to put on to talk about, chat about, and educate about subjects they really enjoy.
Yeah, it's a hard sell,
and I just don't know how well that would translate to an overflow room.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
So yeah, I don't know. Like it's a crummy situation because and I'm positive AWA doesn't want that situation. I'm sure AWA would love for, if they've got really busy big panels, they want to get as many people to see that stuff that they want to see as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I know they've got to be thinking about, well, how are we going to do this? I do know that there were like curious spots of them not really using main events. Like, for example, there was, they showed Saturday morning at 10 a.m., they showed the Fairy Tale movie. But from 11:30 till 1:30, there was nothing.
Weird.
There was nothing in the room.
Could it have been set up for something else?
Well, it's an anime match game, but I don't see why they would need, 2 hours to set up match game. Maybe 30 minutes, but that's still from 11:30 to 1. That's an entire thing that they could have shown.
I think the difficulty there is maybe they could move whatever's in Kennesaw in there, but when you start moving like fan panels and stuff into main events, then it gets kind of weird. Like that's almost overkill compared to a panel room, where the panel rooms are.
That is very true. That is very true.
And someone's not going to be happy about that their panel wasn't the one that got main events.
But but still, that is event space that you need to be filling up somehow.
Oh yeah.
Like, also, for example, I believe, and I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, anyway, you can yell at me. It's totally cool. But I want to say that the big Zune panel was in Kennesaw, not main events.
Weird.
And I know that filled up like insane. Because a lot of people's biggest complaints were how security was treating them in line for Zune. Which, that's fine. One of the most common complaints about any con, about anything, is security.
Yeah.
That is unfortunate. Well, and I can see it. There's a brand new security director this year. That is not the guy who's been doing it for years previously. I believe actually the guy who did this year actually used to be their tabletop guy. Could be wrong, but I think it is. And so, he's got to have a different style. It's his first year. There's going to be a different feel to it. There's got to, there's for a 14, 15-year convention, this is obviously a year that Andy Boy was having growing pains they've have experienced in a while.
Yeah.
And I think not having this experience for so long, especially we're used to this space, we know what's going on, we've been doing this way for so long, and now they're changing things a little bit up here and there, and now we've got new directors for different things, and we're going to do this and that, and now they have so many more people. Like it's got to be like a little bit of shock to their system. Yeah. It's got to be.
I also heard a little bit of secondhand reports, which I did not witness, but I got some secondhand reports of the security was being a bit Gestapo-ish, quote unquote, for the Fortune panel too.
But I don't really know how valid or unvalid those reports really are, because because on one hand, security unfortunately tends to attract
criticism. They tend to attract criticism just for doing their job like they're supposed to.
Right, but they also attract jerks.
Yes.
Like guys who have power and like to abuse that power, unfortunately, will drift to security because they get that power.
Yeah, true.
They get the idea that they are in charge and they will say things and they're important, and that can have an effect. And so it's always someone harsh in your fun, but it could be an actual legitimate complaint. Sometimes you just never know. And good security that balances that line is super hard to do. It is super hard to do, and I don't envy anyone who works security for any convention.
I do know the AWA staff does take seriously any complaints against that seem like there may be some validity to them about staff misconduct.
Yeah. Like, at heart, AWA is, as Kevin likes to say a lot, is a good cop.
AWA's a good cop.
And, but anyways, let's take a break before we really get to Final Thoughts, because I also want to have some things I want to talk about on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday. A couple things on Sunday.
So we're going to take another break. We'll be back with Sunday Final Thoughts. You're listening to the OSMcast. And we're back. Sunday.
Sunday.
I started off, with this weird, where is it? Where was that thing that I got stuck with? The Godzilla panel. Yes. I had, at 11 a.m. was getting my Anime Group Back panel.
Oh, yeah.
And before that was Godzilla. Now, I don't know if this was the entirety of their panel, or they just got into it and got really into it. But when I got there, it was like 5-8 minutes before my panel started. And they were knee deep into this tournament thing, where people were voting on if this villain fought and this villain fought, who would win. And they would introduce the villain, so a picture, play a quick sound clip of the monster screaming, and then people would vote, and eventually the winner of all this would fight Godzilla.
Of course, the real answer is Godzilla has beat all of them. So,
that's... the whole thing was that they finally were getting to the final thing, and they finally fought Godzilla, and everyone voted for Godzilla.
Of course, because Godzilla always wins.
Right. Well,
Also,
yes.
it's a Godzilla panel.
Yeah, and it's a Godzilla panel. And then I'm like, okay, well, they've got 3 minutes left. They can wrap it up, and I can just get set it up. They go, okay, well, that's too long, we thought, so now let's do Q&A. And my brain immediately goes, what? You've got 3 minutes. You can do, like, 1 or 2 questions. All right, well, that's fine. You've got till 11, or 11:30, whichever one. It's 11. You got till 11. All right, go. Take a couple questions. They do it. I'm like, all right. Take questions. Still taking questions. I don't know if they know what time it is. It's 11. So I wait till like, their last question, and I go, okay, guys, it's 11. I really need to start my panel now. And they go, oh, okay. All right, we'll take 1 or 2 more questions. Or 1 more question. I think it was just 1 more question. I'm like, I think to myself, wait, what? No, guys, I told you, it's 11. It's my time. You have used up your time. It is now my time. And I didn't say that because I was nice. Because, and they got their 1 question, and everyone, of course, runs up no matter what. And you kind of need, when you do panels, you kind of have to expect that people are going to come up to you, at least 1 or 2 people to talk to you. And you need to build that into your panels.
Yep.
Which I try to do, at least 1 or 2 minutes. I try to wrap up a little bit early to give, the next person a little time just to breathe and start unpacking their stuff. But no, they started talking, and they had a guy in a Godzilla suit. I mean, these guys are really into Godzilla. Like, I cannot fault them for their zeal, for their costume, or even their technical chops. I mean, they were throwing up sounds and video and pictures, and they were doing pretty good. They just did not know how to manage their time correctly. For me, because I'm important, because I start at 11.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because I had done some video, signal switcheroos on what screen was on what screen, what was dominant screen, what was not dominant screen on my laptop in the previous panel, and I needed to switch it for this panel, and I forgot to switch it into the Utena panel. And so I had some technical difficulties for my first 5 or 10 minutes trying to get everything correct. And I first thought, well, maybe this is Windows 8. I mean, it's Windows 8. Everybody hates the Windows 8, right? It can't be user error. No, it's totally user error. It's my user error. It wasn't Windows 8 fault at all. Windows 8's a good cop, despite what you may hear. And so I did your whole getting your anime groove back, where I show a bunch of different shows that I need to post a list for, but I don't remember those lists anymore myself because I always make it up as I go along. Whoops. I'll post some things.
Yeah, I came about halfway after finishing packing the car.
Well, that happens.
Yeah.
I'm busy.
Someone had to pack the car.
Someone's got to pack the car. It's true, but people seem to enjoy themselves.
It was a good panel.
It's something I'm now an old hat at, but I feel it's an important one. I feel that there does need to be a few anime recommendation panels in AnimeCon sprinkled throughout.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that's one of those things that you can at least do 2. Mm-hmm. For any size con, you can do 2, possibly more. At least 1 a day if you're a big con. Maybe even more, but I don't know. Unless you vary it up. But people seem to enjoy it. And at that point, for me, I was on a quest to deliver upon Gerald white barbecue sauce from Gibson's in Huntsville. Because he lives in Florida, but he drove to Atlanta, and I told him that we had obtained it for him. We, being my conchair from Hamicon, actually went and grabbed it for him because I forgot to. So thank you, Michelle, even though you'll never listen to this. And I found Gerald just at the time to start getting ready for Kevin and I's final panel of the convention, The Weird Side of Go Nagai.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
Kevin, this is all you. Because this was all you. You were the one that made this panel happen.
I
literally.
Pretty much, this was the one. Well, on paper, the Petals and Penguins one was also my panel, but that was just an excuse to get me and Basil more than just 2 panels. But yeah, the Weird Side of Go Nagai, I pretty much threw it together from scratch, hunted down clips, went, found all the stuff. And I did most of the talking for once. That was weird.
But you did a very good job, Kevin. It was a good Kevin.
Yeah.
It was a good Kevin.
And I at least showed some people glory that is Barry Hercules.
Barry Hercules is pretty great. I wanted to show people some more Barry Hercules. that was, man, Gonna Guy knows how to make himself a puppet show.
Yeah, I really want a legitimate release of X-Bomber. Well, it was called Starfleet in the U.S., but I really want a legitimate release of this show. It's like a puppet show. It's like Thunderbirds or Team America World Police.
Wow.
And if you combine the two, I think you get X-Bomber.
Look, all I can say is there's been this magnificent black man in a fro named Barry Hercules. And Barry Hercules got things done.
Yeah.
With a name like that, how could you not?
It's true. Well, no, because they're like, all right, we need this action thing, and Barry's on it.
Yeah, basically it's just, yes, here's the unfortunate implications. It consists of the white lead hero telling the black guy what to do, and then he makes the robot do it.
Obviously, implications is white man dumb and white man can't handle electronics.
Yeah. It takes a black man with an afro named Barry Hercules to really beat alien ass with a giant robot.
Well, we always knew that, I think, somewhere deep down in our souls.
Govarion, that was the show by Knack that I can't remember the name from of Gona Guy. That looks like it's someone, it looks like the bad Korean knockoff of Gona Guy, but it's actually Gona Guy.
Just done by Studio Knack.
Yes.
Because when you need shit, they've got the knack for it.
Only they were, well, I don't think they're still around, but if only they were still around, that could be their catchphrase.
But did you guys catch any more panels before on the big S, the big S Unday?
No, I think that was it.
Yeah, I didn't take any notes for Sunday for whatever reason.
That's the only one I have marked.
Other than getting your anime groove back, that may have been it.
And then I think we sat with you guys like an hour and just talked.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like
the best
a
panel of all.
It was.
It was the panel of friendship.
And tacos.
And tacos.
Oh, the lime fries were pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah, the lime fries were pretty good.
Like, a taco truck, Texas Tacos had lime fries.
I like the pulled pork taco. That was nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I had
the food trucks are great.
Yes, a food truck. It's I want to say it's sad that one of the best parts of the Anime Con was the food trucks. But no, screw that. I don't care. Those food trucks were awesome, and I'm glad
that is not a sad thing.
This is one of the few cons where I feel at no point was hunting down food painful.
Yeah,
true.
It's true. It is.
Yeah,
true.
I have to just say they do make it pretty easy.
Although, man, this is a complete aside. Has no bearing on anything actually to do with any way. Friday night, I did have to go to a thing that a bunch of other people who help run anime cons went to talk about anime con stuff. Just sort of, like a shoot the whatever. Like, so I'm from this con. Well, I'm from this con. Well, how's it going? Blah, blah, blah. They had this off-site hotel it took forever to walk to. Like, it was like Otakon walking. Like, I don't go to Atlanta for Baltimore walking. I go to Atlanta for Atlanta walking. Jesus. Just saying.
Someday, we're already over 2 hours, but someday I think you need to unpack the difference between those two. Because you would think it's a simple thing to explain, but I bet it's not.
No, not real. Okay, it's a difference between like a 5 to 10 hour walk to like a 20 to 25 minute walk.
Okay.
Well, I could actually know more of a 20-minute walk versus like a 5-minute walk. I would say thereabouts. It's like going like, for me, I think of it as like, all right, I have to go like 3 or 4 blocks, not like 10 or 15 blocks.
That's a lot of blocks.
So,
like, should have found a way to drive.
But anyways, that was so. All right, here we are. Final thoughts. And Weekend Atlanta. Dylan, go.
It was pretty good. Of course, the big thing that stuck with me was just how many panels were full and how big it was. So I'm interested to see. I don't know if they're bringing back Zoom next year, but between that and the price changes, I wonder how that will even out and if they will use some of the other rooms.
Well, let's go in order of my computer screen. Charles.
Yes. Pretty good, but the combination of like the sort of management changes as they filter down changes through the convention, the crowd size, and the changes with the media badges, and the price going like surprisingly way up all in 1 year rather than them, slowly ratcheting it up. This was the first AWA since the first one that I didn't go ahead and pre-register the year before. And I don't know. Right now, my takeaway is it's pretty good, but there's every chance that I will take next year off to let them get their house in order before going back to AWA.
I will mention that I don't think we've mentioned this on any of the podcasts, but there has been like a lot of discussion and debate about the whole media badge thing among us. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't
the implications as well for where they're going as a con.
Yeah, and honestly, because even when we were getting the media badges, I was still paying the $20 to pre-register because like I want to support the con and blah blah blah. But it was that combination of now you don't get the media badge. Oh, and from here on out, the price is going to be a whole lot more than it was. It was a double whammy of sticker shock for me. And we've got fewer people going, so the hotel room gets more and more expensive. So it's a pretty big outlay just to go to the convention, not including food and anything you want to buy.
See that? Well, all right. Keep going. Chains Up Buffet Podcast 2. Anything? No.
It's diligently recording.
He's so quiet. He hardly ever says
recording.
Will you say something? Will you just say something?
Man, I've been barking up that tree for a while.
I should take mute off of this so it will echo everything back.
No.
Do it.
You threaten well.
Break it.
That wasn't even a threat. That was a joke. But
that was a promise.
It worked, and sure.
Yeah. All right, Kevin.
I basically liked it. They obviously are having a little adjustment period here with their little bit of change in management and security, and like, oh my God, we got all these people. It remains to be seen if it'll be that many or more or less next year. If lack of Zune may drive attendance down in comparison. But I think as long as there's a place where you can see a little girl dressed up as the Colossal Titan holding a little balloon, I think they're doing good.
Yeah, I at the end of the day, anyway, again, it was my first convention. And I've gone to Anyway every year now for many years, almost half the time I've lived in this world.
Frightening, isn't it?
Yeah. And so I know I'm going to go next year. I know I'm going to go. For one, I want to see what happens. I want to see them grow. I want to see how they handle everything. I find it all very interesting. And it's also going to be their big 20th, bonanza. They've got to have, Otakon just had their big 20th bonanza, and they got Yoko Kanno. Maybe we'll finally get Imagawa.
Yeah, or AWA, just a little suggestion, Jam Project. Project and Imagawa.
Man, but we won't be media. We won't be able to get in.
I will find a way to a Jam Project concert if you bring Jam Project. I will. If you bring Jam Project, I will come, and people will finally get to see me totally freak over a band.
That'd be and Jam Project would be amazing. But I'm really curious to see what happens. I was, admittedly, it did feel a little different this year, and it felt a little soulless, but I think that's just me lamenting the lack of Carl Horn.
Yeah.
Like, I really is. Like, that man, he's one of my heroes.
That'll do it.
Carl Horn is always soul, is what you're saying.
Potentially, for me, and this is something we haven't mentioned before, but I feel that the crowds and the fans that AWA has cultivated over the years is an amazing group of people. No other con in the United States, I'm positive, where you go, hey guys, space, battleship, Yamato, and people will cheer. Like, there is an appreciation for older titles unlike anywhere else. Nowhere else have I seen like someone where you can go, I'm going to do unusual manga genres and fill out a room. AWA, the people who go to AWA are special. The fandom they have been able to cultivate over these 15 years, 20 years is special. And the fact that they pull it off is an amazing testament.
They do seem to have a higher concentration of attendees who do, in fact, know their anime history.
And that is that's eventually the fan base that I want in Huntsville. That's eventually that almost cultured anime fandom. I want to see that in my town. I want people who actually care about the creators. I want people who actually care about the shows. I want more than just random internet meme here. And AWA has that. And I want it everywhere else.
Oh, it was right before the Go Nagai panel, and I don't remember who it was now, but there was a specific animation director panel right before our Go Nagai panel.
Yeah.
And that was, I'm glad to see stuff like that.
You know, there's just stuff like I just don't see shown or even attended at other conventions. You know, and it's just amazing. And that all bound up into one person probably is Carl Horn. Like I think that is a really great representation of the con. It is Carl Horn. And so not having him there was, you know, for whatever reason they couldn't make it, was a little bit sad. It made me really happy that I was able to get him for Hamacon this year. That was nice, especially since I didn't realize that I wasn't going to see him again this year. And I really need to remind myself, memory to self, Kevin remind me too. I need to send an email to Carl saying it was awesome having him there this year, and that I really miss seeing him at AWA because he is an awesome guy, and I wish he could go to every convention and just exist, and every convention would be better for it.
Yeah. Reminder base, I'll email Carl.
That's right. That said, you know, Ed Chavez is pretty awesome too. Like, I don't want to say like, you know, I can go, hey, Ed, how about Shiafu being published in America? How about that? How about you do that? Get on that.
Oh yeah, we got it. We had Ed, we had Neil Nadelman, we had Tim.
Like, yeah, there's a lot of awesome people.
I mean, there are people who are regular attendees and to a certain extent attend who are still incredible guests.
Like, yeah, like there's anybody still full of awesome people. Like, I don't want to, you know, discount that at all. And, you know, honestly, AWA is the only time I get to see Tim Eldred or see Neil Nadelman and watch them do panels and talk about things. Of course,
doubly mentioned Dave Merrill. I think that's why a lot of us do any of the stuff we're doing.
It's true. Yeah. Like, there is a lot of people that are still a part of AWA that make AWA, you know, when it is on, it is on. And I feel that right now they are at war with themselves and that their venue is not doing the accommodations for what they've got like it really needs to be. Yeah. And I don't know if that requires further rethinking, rejiggering of the existing space and adding more rooms to the existing space, and that will do it, or how they're going to remanage, you know, balancing their schedules or what have you. Or if it turns out, no, they really just need to think about a different space. I don't know that solution. I hope to God AWA does.
And I think
that's a problem I think a lot of cons struggle with too.
Yeah.
And I think even if they struggle next year with that solution, knowing it, you know, knowing and planning for it is better than possibly what happened this year, which was it was just covered up and
like, yeah, it was
prepared.
Ideally, they saw the problems this year and they've got a year to think about how they're going to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, I think this was a case of they probably are expecting, like, yeah, well, I think we can pull like 16,000. I think that'd be cool. I think we can do that. And then they got 18,000. I'm like, whoa, that's another couple thousand people, guys. What happened?
Yup.
So, I am very looking forward to next year. And once again, if they end up, anyone listening, thank you, Jason. Thank you, Misty. Thank you, Vince Stat. Thank you, Haley. Thank you because I really do feel that events, that panel staff, that they are on it. They are awesome. They know they saw what went wrong, and I know that they're planning to fix things, and that they've got ideas, and they're probably way smarter about it than I am. And they're probably going like, oh, no, that was a dumb idea, Basil, for this reason. No, that was stupid. Like, I can't believe you said that. How could you thought of that? But, all right, we're nearing on of recording at well past 2 hours. So, thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, Chainsaw Buffet Podcast number 2.
You're welcome, Basil.
I kind of feel weird that you're like putting words in the mouth of my other laptop over here like that.
Yeah, don't put words in his lap. His lap can speak for itself.
Yeah, but those words are on top.
I will unmute this and you will hear the echoes.
Oh God, not the echoes.
Like, should be a line in a horror movie.
Oh.
So help me God, I'll unmute this.
You'll hear the echoes.
Actually, the great thing
The
is
echoes.
it won't record.
All right. Well,
this has totally been a podcast.
this has been the OSMcast and the Chains Buffet podcast. And with that, thank you all for listening. We'll see you next time. We're out.
Panties, panties, panties.